You may have noticed everybody and their brother is moving over here to Alabama. And you're thinking, what the heck, did they find gold or something? While most people probably have not found gold, there are several really good reasons why you may want to live in Alabama, and I'm about to tell you those. The first one is Alabama as a whole is cheaper. I mean, it's just a cheaper place to live, especially when compared to the whole United States of America. But it's even cheaper than its counterpart, Georgia. So why would you not just go a few miles, live over the line, and have it be cheaper? So the cost to live in Alabama is a little over $35,000. So that means anything that you're making over that is just extra money that you have towards spending power, because that $35,000 just covers your food, housing, your basic essentials. So think about it. If you're making $70,000, that's really good to only need half of that to live, and the other half you can spend on whatever. So if you do like I do and you live right over the line in Alabama, but you work in Georgia, then you can make all of that money and then use that extra to live like millionaires, doing whatever millionaires do, because you'll have that extra money because you're saving so much by living in Alabama. So not only is the cost of living cheaper, but taxes are a lot cheaper too. So when I went from having a house in just not even an acre, like 3/4 of an acre in Georgia, my taxes were almost $2,000 just for that little bit. Well, in Alabama, on 5 acres, I'm only paying $800. That's crazy. That's insane. I've got that much more land, and it's that much cheaper for me to live in Alabama than it was in Georgia. This also means that you can pay what you would pay for a home in Georgia or any other state and live in Alabama, but get tons of acreage for it like I'm talking about. So this gives you tons of room to spread out like you want to, but for the same price. It costs a whopping 28.5% less to live in Alabama than it does anywhere else in America. That's really good. So this is why I try to get my clients to take advantage of it. Back when the market was so crazy, I had a couple that had like a really low budget, and we were just not finding anything that they could afford because everything was crap that was in that budget in Georgia. So I convinced them to look just a few miles further and look right over the line into Alabama, and all of a sudden, a whole new world. It was opened up. They had everything they could want. Their possibilities were endless because they moved right over the line and everything's cheaper in Alabama. So if you do pick to live right on the line into Alabama and you don't mind just a little bit of a drive, then you can drive all the way into Atlanta and really make that money, because Atlanta is a heck of a lot more expensive than anywhere else. That is going to be a little bit of a drive time, but some people don't mind. The second would be that feeling of safety in our area. So our area just has that small town community feel, and people feel a lot safer. Think about it. If you know everybody that lives down there, you're going to feel a lot better than it being random people that you don't know and you have no idea like what their intentions are. But everyone here just genuinely wants to look out for each other and have each other's back, and jump in to help. When you're feeling sick, your neighbor jumps in and brings you a casserole, or if you've got an emergency, you know that they can watch your kids for you while you run out, and you feel completely comfortable doing that because of that tight-knit community feel. So I grew up over here in East Alabama, and I remember I never even had a house key because my parents left the house unlocked all the time. Now, granted, in today's society, that doesn't happen near as much. My parents definitely lock their doors now. But back then, I just remember like our doors were constantly unlocked because we felt so safe and we didn't really have to worry about anything. Shoot, my parents would even welcome anybody in, no matter how sketchy they were at the time, because, oh, they were good old country boys. We weren't worried about that. But that just shows you like how trusting they are in this small town feel. So the third, we have great healthcare systems. So Tanner Healthcare System is located primarily in the West Georgia area, but they do have a location here in Wedowee, Alabama. So they bought out this hospital. It's a great place if you get into an accident, you need something quick, or you just need to go see the doctor and get some emergent care. We've got you covered there. And then if you want to go on into Anniston, we have 3 hospitals there. We have Nolan Hospital, Regional Hospital, and then Stringfellow Hospital. I actually did my nursing clinicals when I was in school at Regional Hospital, and I like that hospital. Now, I will say, this has been like over 10 years ago, but they were still using paper paper charting at the time, and everybody else had advanced on to electronic charting, but I'm sure they've changed that by now. But as far as the hospital system, you know, I liked the care that I saw that was given, and I liked a lot of the nurses that were working there. Now, for any of your big emergencies, I personally would feel better sending my family all the way to Birmingham, because we've got the UAB hospital there, which is well known for their clinical research and their medical facilities. So that's a really good, safe spot. And then they also have children's up there, which is really great. And I also did the clinicals there, which I love that as well. They were doing electronic charting there whenever I was there. It was just a really great facility and made me feel really comfortable if I ever needed to take my family somewhere serious. The fourth would be our school system. And I'm particularly talking about Ranburne High School at this point, because it just has a reputation for a lot of people wanting to be in that school district. And I see this all the time with my clients. Like, I have a lot of clients from Georgia and even into Alabama that are wanting to move their kids into Ranburne. And I feel like it's because it is a public school, but it has a private school feel almost. It's very small. You get a lot of individualized attention and classes, and so that just makes a really big difference. So I can attest, because I actually went to high school here and I graduated, and it really prepared me a lot for college. Like, I got into college, and college wasn't that hard for me because I'd already learned what to do at Ranburne and felt really prepared. So the way that it's set up, like when you're in their programs, they really push you to take on some of those more difficult extracurricular activities. So instead of me taking some of the easy classes, like, I was pushed to take some of the harder ones and physics and stuff like that. But I'm glad I did, because it prepared me for college and really helped out. And then Ranburne also has a really great athletic program. We have sent several of our players on to play collegiate sports. I'm one of them. And then we've also had even a couple that went pro. So that right there speaks, especially from this small of a school. Like, Ranburne was really, really tiny. I graduated with, oh my gosh, I'm terrible at numbers, but I mean, okay, I'm not terrible at numbers. I just talked about how prepared I was for college, but I'm terrible at estimating numbers. But I would say maybe 50 or 60 people. But for that many people to go to college and then get athletes from each grade level, like, that's pretty impressive when you look at it. The fifth reason is it's private, but it's also convenient. So anywhere over here in the Alabama area, you can find you some privacy. So even if you only find a house with half an acre or an acre, it's probably backed up to some more land, so it doesn't feel like you're right on top of each other. You still have that private feel. And then it's really easy to find some with acreage. Like, you can find that everywhere. But then it also can be convenient. Now, it's not convenient as far as you can just run right down the street and get everything you want. Like, that's not going to happen. I love that convenience. That's why I moved out a little bit further, because I like being able to just run down to Walmart whenever I need to, and you can't do that here. But it is pretty central to the interstate. So Heflin, Ranburne, they all have their exits right here. You can live right next to the interstate and then just hop it on over down the road to Anniston, Oxford area, or hop it the other way and go to Douglasville, Bremen, wherever you need to on that area. So that is nice. And then, since it is such a quick jump, you do get to what I call the big city of Oxford. So Oxford is just known as a big city to us. To some of you city folk, you're probably like, whatever, that is not big. But to us it is, because it has everything you can want. It has, you know, shopping, the mall, the movies, putt-putt golf, bowling, all kinds of restaurants. Like, just about anything you could want, it's got it there. And then obviously, if there is something that you are wanting a little bit more of, you could go a little bit further into Birmingham and get that. And even though the drive to Birmingham isn't that far, for me, something about it feels like an eternity, but I don't know. Number 6, we have an amazing outdoor area here. So my top favorite out of all of the hiking spots in our area, and I've been to a lot of them, is Cheaha State Park. The reason being the views. Like, you just see these panoramic views. It's the highest point in Alabama, so you can just see forever. At night, it's gorgeous and lit up and pretty. During the daytime, it's gorgeous because you have these views. If you don't want to just see the views and you like to get a little bit wet, there's waterfalls that you can hike to. I've jumped off of them a time or two, which is always fun. Pet friendly. You can bring your little fur buddies, get them out on the trail and get some exercise. So I absolutely love this part of the area. There are also some really great camping spots. So I've been camping over there plenty of times. Really nice areas. You can have a bonfire, get ready to have your adventures early the next morning. With the setup of the cliffs and the rocks and stuff, it's also a really great place to go rock climbing and rappelling, which I do recommend that as well. So that was really fun, just getting to look out over the horizon and see these gorgeous views and then jump right off the edge of it. with a rope, of course. That kind of sounded bad, with a rope, with a setup of a thing that I wasn't gonna get hurt on. But that is really nice. We also have Lakewood Alley. I love Lakewood Alley. I grew up on Lakewood Alley. Like, it just has a special part in my heart. But that's something else that people flock to from all over Georgia, all over Alabama. That's just a central place. You can find just about everybody in the summer there. So very conveniently located to everywhere, you know, in our area, very close from the nearby cities, and it's a great place to spend the summer if you want to go get, you know, a camper. There's certain camping spots over there. There's houses that you can stay at, Airbnbs, all kinds of stuff. So it's just a great place to go, in my opinion. I actually did a video on Lakewood Alley and everything you need to know about that, so I'll link that up at the end so you can see that one if you're interested. Our seventh reason is we have a university here. So Jacksonville State University is located right here in Jacksonville. That's just a little bit outside of Anniston, so still very accessible for people in our area. It's nicknamed the friendliest campus in the South, so I just think everybody's friendly. I didn't notice anybody was extra friendly at JSU because I did get my BS in there, but I mean, I guess everybody was nice. I did most of it online though, so I don't know if that counts. But it is still really convenient. You don't have to pay out-of-state tuition, obviously, if you're here in Alabama. They've got a really good collegiate program. They have 101 different academic programs that you can choose from, so there's something there for everyone. And they've won the national championship 6 times. It's got a really cool downtown area where the college is, with different little shops you can eat at, places to hang out, walkable area. Like, it's just a really nice, cool little area down here. So I think that's definitely a perk to our area. And then plus, if you have children or grandchildren who are going to be going to the university, it'll save you bukus in rent because they can just drive. It's close enough to where it's very easy to drive there and attend college campuses instead of having to pay those super expensive dorm bills that you have to pay. Our weather is the 8th reason that people are moving here. So you don't have to deal with any of those cold seasons, especially now that we're gearing up. Shoot, here it's fall, but it still feels like it's somewhat summer. You just never know. Like, one day it's summer feeling, the next day it's cold. Like, you have to bring layers because of that. But the good thing is it doesn't get freezing cold. Now, to me it does, because this is what I'm used to. So to me, in the 20s and 30s is frigid. But I know for a lot of northerners, they're like, oh, whatever, that's short weather for me, or whatever's going on there. But we have a lot of people wanting to retire. So when you have the weather coupled with the affordability, it's a natural place for people wanting to retire, people wanting to start over. I know I just ran into somebody just the other day that was like, oh yeah, I'm really wanting to get a job over that way so I can kind of move to that area and take advantage of some of that. So it's really attracting people with all that we have to offer. If you did like this video and you want to learn more about Lakewood Alley, check out this video now. As always, I'm your unicorn real estate agent, helping you turn your home dreams into reality.